And let's bring in our political analyst, Professor Fernando Guerra from Loyola Marymount University. We want to welcome you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So give us your overview of the RNC, the highlights, the lowlights. Did Trump get a bump in the overnight polls?
So the highlights, I think the city of Cleveland, we didn't have any great protests or out of control. Everything was run very well by the city of Cleveland. That, I think, was a highlight. Second, I think Trump's family, I think they helped soften him. They did a very good job in terms of their presentation, irrespective of the whole Melania controversy. I think overall the family did a great job. I think the rollout of Vice Presidential nominee Pence, I think that was somewhat of a highlight. The lowlights, unfortunately, too many. I mean, you begin with Ted Cruz not endorsing. You begin with just this dystopian view of America. I don't think it's going to go well. Never in the history of conventions since television has there been such a negative, dystopian-looking convention. I mean, even Ronald Reagan, when he was in '76 challenging Ford, there was nowhere he was as negative. Even Nixon in '68, nowhere near as negative. So, and that's their strategy. Maybe it will work. I don't think so. Did he get a bump? According to the polls that I've seen so far, no bump, which is historic. As a matter of fact, surveys that specifically focus on certain groups, such as Latinos, show that he actually lost ground.
Wow.
And so that's one of the groups he's supposed to try to at least neutralize, if not get a little bit better. He lost ground when people were looking at this convention. So that's not good for that campaign.
All right, let's talk about Senator Tim Kaine. Is he a good pick for Hillary Clinton for vice president?
Yeah, so obviously my personal choice was Senator Warren. I thought it should be two women. We've had two men for our whole entire history. What's wrong with that? I think she would have really mobilized. But I think part of it was that she would have overshadowed Clinton herself, and I think that was a challenge. I think Tim Kaine is an excellent choice. It's a very safe choice. It helps. One of the things we always take a look at for VPs, can they deliver their states? He, I believe, can deliver Virginia. And as a Democratic strategist, I would say I'll take Virginia and give the Republicans Indiana with Pence, because Virginia is much more of a swing state and really helps Clinton in that respect. Great track record, mayor of Richmond, lieutenant governor, governor, U.S. senator, head of the Democratic National Committee, great resume, an insider, but very safe, in this election of many outsiders. He's a definite insider. Also have to say, teaching at Loyola Marymount University, a Jesuit institution, he's Jesuit trained, very much of the Jesuit approach, having done a mission in Honduras, speaks Spanish, all the great things about social justice, being men and women for others. I think that's a very important trait.
Now, the DNC starts on Monday, so what should we expect?
A lot more organized. I mean, you saw during the Republican National Convention, another kind of a low light, they went over time. They were not very well organized. They're going to be organized down to the minute, and they will have the people that they want during prime time will be on prime time. So it's going to be tremendous organization. You're going to see a lot about building up Clinton. Unlike the Republican National Convention, which was about the opponent, Clinton, you're going to obviously see a lot of discussion about Trump and why he shouldn't be president, but a lot more about reintroducing America to Clinton, even though she's been in the public eye for such a long time, trying to soften her up, and of course introducing the new vice presidential nominee, Kaine. And you're going to see a lot of that.
Well, sadly, there has been another terror attack, this time in Munich. How will this impact the campaign and the candidates going forward?
Conventional wisdom always says that when you have public safety issues, international issues, that they tend to benefit the more Republican, quote-unquote, law and order candidate. Clearly, Trump has tried to take advantage of that by even calling himself the law and order candidate. But his reactions to all these incidents have been so much over the top that people have actually responded in a negative way, and he's actually lost some credibility there, thinking that he would add too much to the fire. And I think that's been problematic for him. A great potential issue for him that he's let slide through his hands. And that's been part of the problem with the campaign, the fact that they don't, quote-unquote, have a professional campaign. On the other hand, it's his uniqueness that has catapulted him to where he is, and the insiders, the analysts like myself, keep trying to push a traditional conventional approach and saying you have to do this. And so you think about the last three phases, he didn't take advantage of his own convention. He really hasn't taken advantage of all these international incidents. He didn't take advantage really during the time when he had solidified the nomination and Clinton, was still battling with Bernie. And that's the lack of a campaign infrastructure.
All right. Thanks, Professor. And
Sure.
don't go too far, because Professor Guerra will join us once again at 9 a.m. That's when KCAL 9 News will bring you the first Clinton and Kaine event live from Florida.